Hi, friend. My name is Melissa Gentil, and I'm a creative based in Port-au-Prince, Haiti. Welcome to Unfinished Thoughts, a podcast on intentional living, biz, and creativity, but mostly just a space for you to hide out from the busy world and quiet your mind long enough to relax. You're welcome to stay for as long as you'd like and to subscribe if this space starts to feel like home to you. Welcome.
I had a very interesting conversation with someone I had just met at a brunch this weekend, and we were talking about a lot of things, getting to know each other. Obviously, there comes a point, I think, in time, as in like when you get a bit older, where you just don't really do surface conversations as much. At least if you start surface, but you just go deep. At least as for me, like I'm not gonna spend 15-30 minutes just talking about surface things. Like we'll eventually go deep into something, and it doesn't have to be like intense, but it won't be it won't be fluff. So I was having this really interesting conversation, and we got into the topic of friendship, and I was talking about inner circle, and I was sharing about how God has really blessed me with a dope inner circle of friends. And I was saying that I'm very selective when it comes to my inner circle, because I want that inner circle to be that good. Like the people who are in my inner circle are people, first of all, who can pray for me. It sounds really simple, but it's actually not. The people that I have in that circle, that inner circle or inner sanctum, or my core, whatever you want to call it, they're people that can pray for me. And that's what I look for that's what I look for in friendship in general, but especially in the inner circle. And when I mean pray for me, I mean intercede. Not just pray with me. Like when things are great and I can pray and I have energy to pray, I have reserve, I have faith to pray, that's cool. We can pray together. That's great. But when I am low and I don't have faith for myself, or I'm going through something and I just need prayer, there are not a lot of people. I don't want to say there aren't a lot of people, but you have to be able to identify the people who can do that for you, who can call you up or send you a random voice note or show up to your house, to your apartment, to your room, and be like, I'm praying for you. Sit down or kneel or do whatever you need to do, but I'm laying hands on you and praying over you. Like people like that. That's my inner circle. That's what I want in my inner circle. That's what I have in my inner circle, and that's what I'm blessed with, and that's what I'm going to keep maintaining and building. I'm not saying those friendships are perfect, because we're not perfect. So how can we expect humans to be perfect? Of course there's conflict. Of course there are external conflicts, such as in circumstances that kind of come between the friendship. So for example, you have a friend and then they leave the country to go somewhere else, and now your friendship goes from being in proximity to long distance. That's a huge toll on their friendship. That's a huge challenge that can bring conflict too, but just in general it's a challenge. But you also have internal conflicts within the friendship, within the relationship, where because you're two people, your personalities are different, you're raised differently, maybe culturally you're also different. there's just so much that can, and even in your spiritual walk, different people have different seasons. There are seasons where, I'm strong in my faith. I'm reading and reading the Bible, praying regularly, and just receiving from God. And then there are seasons where I'm really low, and so I don't have as much to give. And what ends up coming out is, the parts that are not so great, being impatient, showing less grace, or whatever else can come out in those seasons. So there are multiple factors, but those things essentially can come and become challenges in the relationship and can bring conflict as well. So you have the external factors and the internal factors as well. So I'm just saying, friendships, and especially inner circle friendships, are not easy, and they're not perfect at all. But I think one of the characteristics is that I myself, that I look for in inner circle friends is commitment. I think it's important to just be able to say, okay, we're doing life together. This is what that means. We're going to build. We're going to be intentional. It's not going to be easy. Sometimes you're just not going to be in the mood to, pray together or to talk or to whatever. But we're going to do this thing. And that commitment is, I think, key to building and maintaining friendships. And it doesn't mean that you can never let go of those friendships if something were to happen. Of course you can. But commitment is a big part of, and a big characteristics, I would say, of an inner circle. And sometimes it's not always, there's not always like a ceremony, or it's not always externalized, like, hey, we're going to be friends for a really long time, just so you know. Sometimes it happens, and sometimes it really doesn't. I remember for one of my friend groups, we were in practice, we lived close by, so that was great. And then we were suddenly going to be long distance. Not suddenly, it happens. So we were going to be long distance, and the two of them are panicking, oh my goodness, this friendship's going to be over, and we're never going to see each other, we're never going to talk, da, 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 da. And I'm looking at them girl, what? What do you mean? And I think in that moment we had this, I don't know if we had an explicit conversation, but I was just like, girl, we're in this. We're doing life together. Period. Doesn't matter. Long distance, short distance, doesn't matter. We're in this together for a really long time. So that's what I mean by commitment. And yeah, so we were having this conversation about, back to the event that I went to, the brunch that I went to. We were having that conversation, and I just kept thinking about, I don't know, I just kept sharing, and the more I shared, the more I was made aware, and also realized myself that it is a blessing to have that, that I was able to build that, and that I'm able to work towards maintaining that. And I was also challenged, because sometimes when you have those friendships and life gets in the way, you're busy, you're doing this, you're doing that, and then it's easy to neglect and just figure that, organically, whatever. It's not like that. You have to be intentional. You have to build. So it challenged me to be even more intentional, and make even more of an effort to continue to build what we have in my inner circle. And at the same time, I was just reminded of the blessing that of having those friends and having those quality friendships, those people I can lean on, those people who can not like pray for me, hear from God for me, challenge me, tell me when I'm wrong, affirm me when I'm right, or when I don't feel like I'm right. All of those things are important. But not only did it make me aware of the blessing, it challenged me, but it also reminded me that, like I said, like it doesn't just come like that. Yes, you can meet all types of people, but the selection process takes time, takes discernment and wisdom. But once you do it, once you go through that process, it's great and it's worth it. So I would say the last thing also is that in order to have la crème de la crème, like a really great inner circle, you have to be yourself, the kind of person, the kind of friend that you would want to have. You have to be the kind of friend that is in the Word, that is prayerfully hearing from God and practicing just living a life that pleases Him, and just practicing what He's teaching you, what you're seeing in the Word. You have to be that kind of friend, because you have to be able to. It's not as much as I give, I receive. It's not that, but it's more of a, like, you have to be the kind of person that can give what someone else might be looking for. So I say, if there's one thing I can encourage you to do, if you don't have an inner circle yet, or if you're slowly building it, I would say also work on yourself to be the kind of friend people can count on. And it doesn't have to be that everybody counts on you. Like, certain people can count on, that your inner circle can count on. Work at being the kind of friend that embraces truth, that knows the truth. The kind of friend that knows how to tell the truth in love. Essentially, that's that. The kind of friend who has discernment, who has wisdom, who has patience, who has grace. The kind of friend who someone can lean on, and who has margin in their lives for other people. All of those things I'm constantly challenged to work on, and I'm learning to work on. And I realize that, it takes time, and it will take a lifetime and more to get to a place of being a really good friend. But we have a model in Jesus, and we know that doing this thing in community, being in community, allows us to get better at it over time. So yeah, that's what I wanted to say about friendship and about inner circle and just life in general. I hope you were encouraged. I hope you were challenged. And yeah, I hope this gave you food for thought. Okay, bye.